You would have to elaborate on that, Shivo.
So we are live now. I'm
Okay.
adding everyone.
Awesome. Pranam everyone. Pranam Rajkumari.
Pranam everyone. Pranam Shivo. Pranam everyone. You always give me such a beautiful smile, and it makes my day.
Sorry, what did you say, Rajkumari?
I say seeing you and seeing your smile makes my day.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Rajkumari. Love to see you all. This is what a way to start a Tuesday morning. Hi Jeet. Hi Jeet. Not seen you for a while.
Hi,
Love you,
Mansi.
baby. Love you.
And you
Pranam.
look lovely in red.
Thank you. Today Brahmana, so right. Pranam Ranjana. Hi Kavita. Wonderful to see all the Quantos at the house. If you feel connected to Quanto, welcome to change your name to Quanto, okay, for this meeting. I invite all of you to do that. Hi Kavita. Hi Quanto Kavita. Pranam Ranjana. Pranam Leela. Leela, I read your sharing about the law of attraction. That was, thank you for sharing your experience, because even I have done, I think unknowingly I have done a lot of law of attraction stuff. So it reminded me of that. I didn't plan to do it, but it used to happen a lot, and it would manifest in very funny ways for me.
It's manifesting really fast. I just have to think and it's happening.
Yeah. Really funny. One day I'll share all the can'ts I have done, because for lack of better word. But yeah. Welcome Mohit. Sachin and Shalab, if you all have invited someone and they come, please feel free to welcome them. We may not know them, so.
Mansi, I see Shabir here. He was also one of our participants in Ganesha
A
Sadhana.
long time ago, right? Shabir Thanawala,
Last year.
right? Is it?
Yeah, Shabir
Yes.
is here. I see him here.
I remember he was in one Ganesh Sadhana. Remember
Last
interacting
year
with
he
him.
had attended.
Yes. So welcome Shabir. Mohit, Pranam Mohit, I don't believe we've met before. So welcome. Pranam Ruchita, Pranam Lata.
Pranam.
We have a really exciting program. We'll just get started in a few minutes. Because today we have the honoring program, and then we also have interaction with Sachin, and I'm really excited about today. We have many questions. What is the meaning of pranam? Shivu, you wanna share the meaning of pranam? I just feel it is somehow I feel a difference between a namaste and a pranam. Like for me, namaste is like a social greeting, and I think pranam is something deeper. Like when you are, I think, Shiva, you want to elaborate? I don't know. I just do pranam when I feel very connected. I think namaste seems like a greeting, a social greeting, and pranam seems like in yoga in US, this is what we say. That we are honoring the divine in you and in me. But I don't know what the word pranam actually means. I mean, I don't know what Sanskrit etymology it comes from. So, yeah, good question, Sanjay. Hi, Anamika.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm fine, thanks.
We have a lot of creators today in our. I'm very excited. We have a lot of creators in our group today who have created their own businesses, their own careers, their own way of life. So, really
Yeah, by the
excited.
way, Anamika is a big fan of Sachin.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
And how do you know that Shivo? I mean, Anamika, you knew Shivo before,
Anamika is one of my oldest friends.
is it? Okay,
Very,
awesome.
very long time
So
friend,
world
very
is such a
long.
small place, huh?
Yes.
Yes.
Shivam was in corporate world that time. Imagine.
Okay,
I know her for past 25 years.
awesome. Great. So I think we got connected through Geeta, right? Anamika, you've been invited by Geeta to one of our seminars, and that's
Great.
how.
Yeah, that's right. Yes.
That's it. So Shabir bhai, welcome. Even Shabir bhai is part of our
Yes,
community.
Shabir also has done some Quanto programs. I remember Shabir did some Quanto workshop.
Awesome.
Shiva, it was Ganesh Sadhana last year.
Yeah. There was Nityanand. Is he here? Is Nityanand here?
Yeah, I was just thinking the moment you said Shabir was, I was just
Yeah,
thinking about
and by the way, Nityanand's daughter Diksha,
Diksha.
she did our Hero's Journey program, and
Okay.
it was phenomenal actually.
Did Shiva, he probably may not even know this. Is there a way to contact him? Does anyone have his number? I have his I don't have his number. I have his daughter's number.
So I have sent this message to our community, so he might have received it.
Okay. Thank you. Because I talked to him. I was talking to Diksha, and I ended up talking him, and I was like, I made a mental note to connect with him, but okay, hopefully he joins today.
That's it.
Yeah. Shiva, shall we start in 2 more minutes?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, Mansi, we can start.
Yes. So pranam everyone and welcome to Deva Magic. Deva Magic is where we dissolve our subconscious patterns and conditionings. It is where we expand our field of consciousness through observation, and then we connect to the superconscious, the divine and the masters and the devas, and we partner with them. So today I'm very excited that we're going to invoke Brahmadev and understand his energy, his consciousness. So welcome everyone to this session. Before we get into how Brahmadev is in the current age, in Treta Yuga, Brahma was really the Deva of Treta Yuga. That was the time of the Vedic culture. Brahma, Brahma was the giver of the Vedas and all the Vedic information. The rishis were the one who were most respected, and the highest a rishi could be was a Brahma rishi. Means he had heard the Vedas from Brahma himself, and he was sharing it with people. So that was the golden age of Brahma. And then we have gone through the Kali Yuga and how, Brahma became a cursed god. In fact, when I remember, my first exposure to Brahmadev was like many of you probably through Amachitra Katha. And I remember this story where I still remember the visual. I remember that, where there was this infinite lingam, which was extending up to the skies and into the, it was extending upwards and downwards. And there was a competition between Brahma and Vishnu, that who is a greater god, which now sounds a little ridiculous that they would get into that. But at that time, you were like, okay, they are going into this competition, and and so the competition is like Brahma on his swan is going to go reach up and see whether he can reach the starting fastest, or Vishnu is going to descend on his Vahana, which is the Varaha. He's going to go down and he's going to reach the bottom the fastest. And whoever does it first is the winner. And then we all know the famous story that, okay, Brahma, he lies. He even gets a partner in crime, which is the Ketki flower. And they say that, we have reached the top, and we are the winner, and Brahma is the greatest god. And Vishnu says, okay, you are the greatest god, I accept my defeat. And then Shiva comes out and he says, no, this has no beginning, no end. This is Ananta. So then he's like, okay, now Brahma will no longer be worshipped in any temple, and it is Vishnu who is the greatest Deva. So really, that is the story I've grown up with. The other thing is, everyone knows that Brahma is the Deva of creation, but he's always shown like this old man. And I used to think that, okay, he has done his creation, apparently did not do such a good job of it, because look at the problems. And he is this old person who's always like, he is always in every serial, once there's a problem, going to Vishnu or and they seemed like the real heroes. So I admit that this was my understanding of Brahma. And obviously the times have changed. We live in a world where knowledge is more important. We just have to look at Silicon Valley. I feel that is one of the places where Brahma really lives, because of the constant innovation that is happening there. Before we go that, I would invite Shivo. Shivo, you have really changed our perception on how to look at Brahmadev. Really, I mean, I cannot even, and honestly, even though the world was changing and we could see that knowledge and innovation was becoming more important, I never really connected it to Brahmadev. But you made this connection very obvious to us. So could you lead us to why this is the age of Brahma? You said it. You even said that observation is the greatest act of creation, which is a very Brahma. It's a Brahma Sutra, right?
Yeah,
So
observation.
could you walk us through that?
Observation is the ultimate Brahma Sutra. So we'll
Yes.
discuss about that today. So
Could you take us to why you call it the Brahma age? Why you call this age a Brahma
yeah, so
age?
let me first share the curse of Brahma. So Brahma was a cursed god in Kali Yuga, and somewhere around 500 AD, he really started to become cursed. Before that, he still had a good status. Of course, his status was great in during Treta Yuga when the Vedas were being written, and it is supposed to be that it is Brahma who revealed all the knowledge which Vedas are supposed to contain. But you can imagine in Kali Yuga, I mean, when there is this whole fight is going on, struggle is going on, everybody is just worried about survival. And what happens to a person who will focus on knowledge? What will happen to him? That person will be simply decimated, isn't it? That person cannot survive. It's as simple as that. So it was very clear that anybody who is a Brahma channel or a Brahma worshipper. Okay, so we, I mean, let me not say channel, let me say worshipper. So a Brahma worshipper is obviously cursed. And there were stories that somebody started to worship Brahma and that person got destroyed. So finally, it finally came to a point where it was said that only in one place on the earth Brahma will be worshipped, because finally he's a creator, so we have to acknowledge him. And that place is supposed to be the Pushkar. Nowhere else Brahma should be celebrated or worshipped. And I've been to Pushkar and I have sat in Brahma temple for days and days, for many hours together. And I consider very blessed that Brahmaji revealed a lot about himself during those times of channeling. And then suddenly I started to notice that very recently, in past 10 years or so, there are so many Brahma temples that have come up now. Now it's not, Pushkar is not the only Brahma temple. There are many more Brahma temples and they are coming up everywhere. So it is very clear that Brahma is being rejuvenated. And in the current age, without Brahma, you will reach nowhere. So after Kali Yuga, we have now come to the ascending Yuga. In ascending Yuga is all about creation. So Brahma is, it is the creative power of Brahma, which rules us today and will rule even more tomorrow. And there are so many fascinating aspects of Brahma which we all can imbibe. See, for in all the quantum programs, the way we relate with gods and goddesses is the not by worshipping them, but by imbibing their qualities within us. So today we are going to discuss that how do we imbibe the qualities of Brahma so that we can become creators. And if you see, in today's world, everything is being driven by knowledge. Everything. Every nation's policy making is driven by knowledge. Whole world is driven by the scientific concepts. I mean, every industry, if you see, is driven by knowledge, right? Of course, we have IT. And the greatest sign of Brahma is, in past 20 years, the knowledge we have created is more than the knowledge we have created in past 10,000 years. What more evidence you need that we are in the age of Brahma? Yes, Mansi, please.
Shivo, I would just thank you for saying all that. I would just like to walk people through what is the program today. So we're going to start with an interaction, which is divided into two parts. The Brahma interaction first. We will go into observation versus visualization, because Brahma is about creating and manifesting in the world, and we'll talk about what are the ways people are manifesting in the world and what works, what doesn't work. Yeah. And then we'll go into what is idea centric economy. And we will invite Sachin and I invite you all to please
Rather, we will
share
go,
your question.
we will be focusing majorly on economy, but we will be talking about idea centric society.
Yeah, idea centric society or idea centric community. Yeah, idea centric society. So we'll focus on that. And then we will honor two very special people who we feel have already imbibed the qualities of Brahmadev, and they are creators in their own lives. So we'll honor two people. We'll honor Sachin Mahajan and Shalav Mittal. We'll have a deeper interaction with Prachiti and them. And finally, as Shivo said, we will invoke Brahma and we will imbibe Brahma qualities in our lives so that we can be creators of our own life. This is the program. So Shiva, could you walk us through some of the science? Because Quanto Life and in Deva Magic, we have metaphysics, but we also have quantum sciences, and we have integrated that. Could you take us through that and some of the science on why this is a Brahma age and why observation is the key sutra in these times?
Yeah, yeah. So I think the biggest, the Brahma concept that has come in the world today is how the cosmos got created. So till 25 years back, the accepted theory, the widely accepted theory was Big Bang theory. And what Big Bang theory said was that in the beginning, there was something called singularity. Now, that singularity was something which nobody could explain, but everybody believed in. So, what it basically said was that the whole cosmos was in the form of a point equal to the point of a needle. And in that point, that was called singularity. And in that point, the whole of the mass of the cosmos. Now, just imagine how much mass is there in the cosmos. You have the Earth and you have the solar system where there are so many planets, right? And then you have our Akash Ganga, which has got billions of stars, and then there are millions of galaxies. Can you imagine? It is unimaginable to even think how big is the cosmos. And then it is not even the solid we are talking about. 99.99% of the weight of the cosmos, the mass of the cosmos, is in the form of plasma, which is spread everywhere. So the weight you see in the planets is actually nothing. Weight you see as solid, gas, and liquid is nothing. But actually 99.99% is the plasma. Now just imagine how big that cosmos is. And the scientific belief, first belief was that everything was concentrated as singularity. Okay. Now the second belief was at some point that singularity exploded. So there was all this weight was compressed inside a point. That point exploded, so that whole weight started to spread. And through the gravitational interaction of this and that, the cosmos got created. Now, this, okay, no scientist could explain the how that event happened, how that point exploded. So they said, okay, it's a chance event. It happened by chance. Okay. Now science doesn't say anything happens by chance because it has rules. So, but for singularity explosion, there was no rule. They said it happened by chance. But now, at a certain point, when it was discovered that cosmos is constantly expanding, and not only expanding but also accelerating, the whole Big Bang theory began to collapse. Why it began to collapse? Just imagine if there was an explosion that happened, the Big Bang happened more than 13 billion years back. That was the time the force was highest. So at this point of time, either the cosmos should be contracting, or if not contracting, at least it should be deaccelerating, because the force cannot remain that much what it was 13 billion years back. But so everybody expected either the cosmos is contracting or it is deaccelerating. But then scientists, to their surprise, they came to know that cosmos is not only expanding, but it is also accelerating. So then this whole Big Bang theory fell flat. It completely fell flat. Okay, because it's a very old theory, there are still believers in Big Bang theory, but now there is a new concept that is coming in, and that new concept is very Brahma-like. So what is the Hindu uh, metaphysical story of creation says that Brahma was sleeping, and then one day he got up and the creation began. Right? This is the story of Hindu story of creation. Now, what are the scientists saying now today? They're exactly saying the same thing. Exactly the same thing. So, what they are saying now, that in the cosmos, what is called the subatomic particles. Okay, now the atom is made of electron, proton, neutrons, and there are till now 39 subatomic particles have been discovered, and there are more are under process of discovery. So they together make the atom. So what do the scientists say today? That before the so-called the cosmos began to get, God, the process of creation began, all these particles were there, subatomic particles. They were spread all around. This was called quantum foam, and some called it quantum chaos or whatever. There could be many other different names. And then what happens is, so then they say, then some being got awakened in the cosmos, some being, some consciousness, something, they may not, some scientists call it consciousness, some don't call it consciousness, but something awakened. There was something happened in the cosmos at some point where all these subatomic particles, they started to organize themselves as atoms, right? And from atom, the whole creation of the matter began. So it is the act of Brahma awakening from the sleep. The consciousness has awakened and the creation has begun. So how did we arrive at this concept of creation? And I will also explain that how we can apply this concept of creation in our own lives, how we ourselves can become Brahmas and how we can manifest the creation. But before that, let me explain that how the scientists arrived to this conclusion. So it was almost more than a century back, a very, very strange experiment happened, or it was a mathematical deduction, which later got proved in laboratory. What it said was that there is electron is a wave, okay, but when somebody will observe it, it will become a particle. Now, this is something very strange. It was totally unthinkable from the point of view of the science. Newton said that whatever happens, there are certain rules which are there in the cosmos and everything is following that rule. But now a new dimension comes in which says there may be rules, but just the observation can change that. How is that possible? Right? So Einstein had a huge opposition to this concept. And he even made fun of it. And one of the statement which is very popular even today, where he said that, oh, it seems like if nobody is observing, then there will be no moon. That became a fun statement. People were, making fun of quantum sciences by saying this, that if everything came up because somebody was observing, that means if you stop to observe the moon, then there will be no moon actually. But they were not really getting that who is observing. They were thinking that it is a human who is observing. It's not the human observation which is important here. Yes, it was observed in the beginning, it was observed with the human observation, but then there were this experiment which was a very radical experiment, and it was conducted at hundreds of laboratories across the world because nobody believed it. Einstein said, okay, this is magic. Come on. Science is not based on magic. You are talking magic. But actually it was magic. And that is why we call Quanto Life as a magical path. Because its basic concept of double slit experiment actually was magical. Science called it magical. So we also call Quanto Life as a magical path. So now later experiments proved that a human doesn't have to observe it. Okay, it has to be an electromagnetic field that has to observe it. And why the human observation works? Because we all have electromagnetic field. What is our soul basically? We say we have a soul, right? We say we have God. But what is God actually? God is nothing but a cosmic electromagnetic field. When we say Aham Brahmasmi, the I become merged with Brahma, I am God, Aham Brahmasmi.
Shivu, you.
So what is the meaning of Aham Brahmasmi? Aham Brahmasmi simply means that the vibrations of my own electromagnetic field, they have become aligned with the cosmic vibrations. It's as simple as that. So it is, so in the later experiments of double slit experiment, a device was used, which was an electronic device with a certain electromagnetic field. And when that device observed, the same effect happened. And in another experiment, which was very recent, I think it happened just a few years back. So they varied the electric current through that device. So they are kind of expanding the electromagnetic field. And then they start to observe that there is more and more of this, through observation, the manifestation is happening. More and more manifestation. As you increase the electromagnetic field, the more electrons are collapsing from wave into the particle form. So it's very clear what creates is the observation, and who is the observer is the electromagnetic field, our soul. We as soul are the observers, and that is why one of our Brahmavakya in Quanto Life is that observation is the greatest act of creation. It is not your action, it is not even your concept, it's not even your intellect, it is the observation which is the greatest act of creation. This is the very deep meaning of act of observation is. Yes, Mansi.
Shivo, just soaking it in. Um, and yes, you have, one of the things in Deva magic in Quanto Life that you have done is take all these experiments and take all these to take this theory, this hypothesis, and teach us how to apply in our own life. And we've all seen how our lives get transformed. Like, it is not just esoteric and scientific, not just happening at the level of waves and particles and electrons, but it's also happening in our real life, and how we have through observation our life starts transforming and there is new creation in our life. Shivo, because you were talking about science, the one of the other theories that has undergone a change is, there was a time when Newton mechanics reigned supreme, and in Newton's laws, everything is deterministic. If there is an action, there's a reaction. You can predict everything. If a ball is going down a slope, it's either, it is going to move at this acceleration to this point. Everything is very fixed in Newtonian science. But then when we come to quantum physics, we start dealing with probabilities. And, yes.
So one of the, there are so many variations of double slit experiment.
Mm-hmm.
In one of the variation, when they shot electron from the gun, every electron, if you follow the Newtonian physics, every electron should hit exactly at the same point, because it is under the law.
Yes.
But they were shocked to see that every electron was hitting at a different place. That means electron had a choice. It was a very shocking experience. It was a very shocking experiment again, that electrons have a choice. So what we understand, that when things are in the state of energy, they have choice. There is a freedom. So in our life, after the things have solidified into matter, they rule under the fixed law. But before that, there are only probabilities. Okay, so let's say when a divorce has happened between husband and wife, it has already happened. Now the rules apply. But till then, till the divorce has happened, it still exists in the state of energy. And you can observe that, and the outcome will change. Right? So there was this great scientist called David Bohm, and he came out with this theory called theory of implicit and explicit order. And actually what he was saying was, exactly same as what our sages has been saying for thousands of years. He said before things happen in the world of matter, they first happen in another subtle plane of reality. There is subtle plane of reality. First things happen there and then they manifest here. So if the divorce is to happen here, first it will happen there in that certain subtle plane of reality. So till the things are there in the state of energy. For example, even there is a, if there is going to be a war between two nations, first it will get created at the subtle planes. If a hurricane is going to come, first it will, earthquake is going to come, it will first get created at the subtle plane of reality. And there, if you have the observation, the outcome will change. So whatever you can imagine, let's say your business is facing certain problems today, right? Now, what will come out of that tomorrow? There are many probabilities of that, many probabilities, right? But which possible probability will turn true? That depends on what kind of consciousness is observing it. Okay. As I said, in an experiment, as you increase the electromagnetic field, as you increase the electric current of a device, the the outcome were different. So it depends on the people who are involved in the business, how is their consciousness, with what kind of electromagnetic field they are observing. Based on that, the outcomes are different. So if there are people who are less conscious, the probability, the outcome is going to be more disastrous. And if there are people who have a very high conscious, the outcome is going to be far more beautiful. Yeah. So yes. So it is all
Shiva, we have a
probabilistic.
couple of questions.
And yeah, before you, I mean, yeah. So there is a one very interesting question I have. Okay, I have thought a lot about this, and I always, for me, one thing is very clear: whatever is happening in the world, it is first happening with the choice the God has made. So I used to wonder that why suddenly in past 200 years the population of the world has got exploded so much. I mean, till 200, 300 years back, the population of the world was fixed. I mean, it wouldn't go up. Actually, for thousands of years, it remained fixed. Something like, India's population was, during Buddha's time, it was 25 million, and it was still 25 millions, few hundred years back. And the whole world probably had 50 million people, something like that. It remained fixed. But suddenly, can you imagine how, at what proportion the population has grown up? So I started to think that we are in the era of creation, and then why there is so much population. And then I realized that when we are thinking of population, we are always thinking that we are the drag on the resources of the earth, isn't it? That we will consume the water, that we will consume the food, that we will consume the minerals. So we are basically the suckers of earth. We are exploiting the earth. So I started to think, is there a way that human being, instead of being a sucker of the earth, can he become the contributor of the earth, contributor to the earth? Can humans contribute something to the earth? And I'm asking this question to everyone here. Is there something humans can contribute to the earth? Instead of being the exploiters of the earth, what can we contribute? So are there any responses? What can we contribute? What could be our highest contribution to the earth? So Rishabh says positivity, giving energy to mankind, planting trees, love, observation, good intentions, self-transformation. Okay, so yes, increasing the consciousness. Yes, so Yes, all wonderful answers. Meditation.
Shiva,
Yeah,
are we giving something through the earth through this, or are we creating something on the earth? You mean
we
creating
are
something?
we are contributing and then creating. See, today in today's world, what is the greatest crisis the earth is facing? The greatest crisis earth is facing is the plasmic onslaught, and which we talked about earlier in one of the program. And because of that, there are so many natural disasters. Normally people think that natural disasters are because of the pollution, but they are not really true, because the same kind of disasters happened 12,000 years back also. And earth once in 12,000 years goes through this galactic transit where there is a huge plasmic onslaught. So there was no, obviously there was no global warming in terms of pollution 12,000 years back, but actually there was a huge global warming all over the earth. So this concept is not really correct, that the global warming is because of the human man-made pollution. Uh, so this, all those disasters of earthquakes and hurricanes and tornadoes and floods, everything is because the plasma, there is too much plasma coming on the earth, and earth is not able to absorb that plasma. One thing that was noticed about the electromagnetic field of the earth, that throughout the Kali Yuga, I mean 12,000 years back, the electromagnetic field of the earth was extremely high, and then it started to plummet. And during the period of Kali Yuga, it just it just hit the rock bottom. And in recent years, past 20 years, the electromagnetic field of the earth has again begun to rise. So when the electromagnetic field is weak, it cannot absorb the plasma. So that disoriented plasma, it it adversely impact all the earth systems. But if we humans, if we have seen in the all the quantum processes, when you started to observe your subconscious, it starts to integrate with your soul, and suddenly your magnetic aura grows. And when our own magnetic aura is integrated with the earth, then the electromagnetic field of the earth itself will take a leap. And there is a evidence of that. And the evidence of that is that there are two times the electromagnetic field of the earth has really gone up. And there are records which are like exist for past 300 million years or so. So once then, when the dinosaurs ruled, that time the electromagnetic field of the earth was very high. So it was because they were like giant systems. They did not have brain, but still they were conducting their bodies, so they would have very strong electromagnetic fields. But ever since the humans have come, for past 5 million years or 10 million years, the electromagnetic field of the earth is again rising. So that shows that with the birth of humans, the electromagnetic field is rising. So the biggest contribution we can make to earth is to work on our own magnetic auras and to integrate that with the earth. And if this vast human population can do that, I mean, I will sound very crazy in saying this, but I'm going to put myself on the line of fire and say that if humans can really work on their auras, on their own electromagnetic fields, uh, that is the only way we can. Okay, maybe it's not the only way, but that is the way we can deal with these natural disasters. And at this stage, there doesn't seem like any way we can deal with these, and this is the biggest danger to the humanity today. So with the act of observation, we can deal with, I mean, the biggest of the challenges. And all the challenges, we are going to talk about the business challenges, personal challenges. I mean, yes, we can deal with all challenges just by being in observation. Yes, Mansi.
Shivu, a couple of questions, and I'll just take the questions in the sequence of the flow rather than in the sequence they came in. Shivu, I have a very quick question. In US, they have this thing called Storm Watch and Hurricane Watch, and this is really hurricane season. So we have before it even happens, when the ocean starts to churn, down a watch, and they will name the storm, and everyone is observing. And usually, what I have surprisingly, what I have seen is that every single time that they have said that it's going to be a hurricane category 4 or something,
Yes.
and we get all the forces mobilized and all, it turns out to be a lesser. It has
Right.
always been so.
That is the evidence of
Yeah,
what
I
is the
have seen
power of
it
human
so many
observation. It's
times.
correct. It is
I have
a
seen
true
so many
phenomenon.
times.
Yeah.
And the ones that have caused the destruction have been like the forest fires, which we could not see coming.
Yeah.
Right, we just couldn't see it coming. Like, that the winds and all are bad, but it has always been a surprise. When
Right.
there's been a surprise is when we have had the most. And this is an observation for many, many years, maybe from 6-7 years
It
I'm
is
doing that.
correct. The observation is very true. And in terms of business, Sachin will also explain probably today that as soon as you have seen something coming, the force of that becomes immediately, instantly, it reduces. So that is why the management gurus all over say that it is most crucial to have the feedback mechanisms. So when some problem is happening, it should come to your notice immediately, because the moment it comes to your notice, it begins to resolve itself. And the worst mistake today is to try to hide things under the carpet. That is the worst mistake anyone can do today. Yeah. And I've seen the same phenomena working in astrology. When we make prediction of some difficulty that is coming, I have seen just in that awareness that it is coming, 50% of that is just over. It still comes, but with a much lesser force.
Yeah, I mean, the way astrology is done is completely different. It was earlier to predict the future, and now it is to become more aware. It's like literally you're partnering, and you're partnering with the cosmos. It's like this is the blueprint of life you have received. This is the new um, gifts and challenges coming, and how do we stay aware? How do we observe it and make the best out of it? And that's what it turns. So Shiva, Nitika has asked that can
So,
observation of
yeah, I was, we initially had planned to discuss on law of attraction, but maybe, we can have it in a different session. Yeah, because we have already
and
discussed
we
a lot
move
of,
on?
yeah, yeah. Yes, so yes, you can ask the questions. What are the questions today?
Yeah,
And then
Shiva,
we can move to the
so
next session.
one question is from Nitika. Can observation affect the inflow of
Inflow of,
plasma?
yeah, it will absorb. When there is more electromagnetic field, see, plasma is the charged particle, and those charged particles, they group together. It is said that plasma has its own life. It has its own structure. Like, it's like any lively thing. It can create its own reality. So but when it is absorbed by a strong magnetic field, uh, it gets harmonized. It adds to your energy. And you can just see that, we can see the practical example in our life is that somebody becomes angry and there is suddenly a fight, right? So that's a sudden eruption. But what if that person uh, is a very conscious person? The same situation happens, yet the fight doesn't happen, because he has absorbed that plasma.
Yeah. So we cannot reduce the amount of plasma, but we can turn that plasma creative or destructive through
Yes,
observation. If we don't
plasma
observe,
is, yeah,
it's going to be very destructive,
yeah.
but in observation, we can make it creative.
See,
But
plasma
the
is
amount
the
of plasma is not going to
yeah,
change.
plasma is the greatest Shakti of the universe. See, if there is life on Earth today, it is because there is plasma in the sun. Sun is totally plasmic. So that force of plasma flows to the earth, and that creates. Plasma is the greatest
Shiva, there
creative
are there
force.
are yeah several questions about global warming, the role of humans and all. Um, I think, Shivo, would you like to address that? Someone said, did I hear, Jayaji says, did I hear that humans are not responsible for global warming?
Okay,
So,
according to some research reports, humans are 1/7 responsible. Uh, but what is the problem with the humans is that natural disasters are not happening because of them. But when we are cutting forests and trees, then we are taking away the capacity of the earth to deal with that. If, uh, okay, the floods, because we have cut trees, so there are more floods. So the original cause of flood will still be there, but if we were planting, if there were more trees, the floods would have been less. So yes, the humans are guilty of destroying the ecosystems, which would have given us better power while all these disasters happen. And but humans are very
Shiva,
little
and there is an
responsible for the
element of
global warming.
unknown also, right?
Sorry.
And Shiva, in this age, there are unknowns also, right? We do not know exactly everything. There is a element of unknown also, right? Or not
Yeah,
really?
absolutely. And it is very politically incorrect to say that humans are not responsible, because the moment you say that, then there are a lot of scientists who have said this same thing, but they have been accused of hobnobbing with the corporate interests. So there are a lot of honest people will not talk about this. But then see, the problem is, if we cannot even see what is the real issue, how we will deal with that? I mean, we can keep believing that it is we humans who are creating it, but if that is not the real thing, we should really first find out what is the real cause, right? So we can observe something only if we know what is the real cause. Then only we will observe, right? So the first requirement for observation is we getting to know the reality. If we don't even know the reality, how we are going to observe, right? So I know it is very politically incorrect to say that humans are not responsible for the global warming. They are responsible for disasters, but not for global warming. Yeah, so there are a lot of evidences now. I mean, you can just Google and find out. There was a huge global warming 12,000 years back, and we are talking about the global warming of 1 degree over a period of uh, last 100 years. But 12,000 years back, uh, I think within a period of some 25 years, uh, the Greenland, where they have done the ice drilling, they have found that within the period of some 25 years, I don't remember the exact data, but during those period of 25 years, the there was a warming of 8 degrees. So why did that happen? Yes, same phenomena is happening today. This phenomena happens every 12,000 years when Earth goes through the galactic transit. So this is a period of extreme creativity, because through the galactic transit, we are open to extremely new possibilities. That is why there is so much of the new revelation today of past 25 years, so much new knowledge. It is because of the galactic transit. At the same time, that same galactic transit is also a huge challenge.
Uh, yeah, so this is something on which I and Shiva have argued a lot, to be honest. And I actually, I hold in my intention that someone who's very conscious and someone who's an expert in global warming, someday we find that and we have this real interaction, because Shiva comes from his own research and also from a spiritual point of view, from a psychic point of view, and that is very real. And then there is the science, and then there is science and science, because this is a very politically charged topic. So I really hope we one day get very deep into this discussion, Shiva, with scientists and all, because I am not completely convinced. We have fought about this a lot, and yeah, I think I welcome that, because that is the spirit of Quanto anyway. So Shivu, shall we do we want to go into strategic economy, and do we just want to do action another day? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. So we intended to discuss the law of attraction, but maybe we'll discuss that in a separate session. Yeah,
Okay.
because it's a
So
very,
shall we go
again,
to
it's
the
a topic that
honoring?
charges up people a lot, and it is very
Yes.
important for people. So maybe we can have a separate
Yes.
session on
Yes.
that. Yeah.
Yes. So
Shivaji,
shall
I
we
have
go to
one
the
question.
honoring ceremony?
Yes, yes, Venkat,
Yes.
can you please post your question on chat?
Yeah,
I
I'll take
don't
it up
know.
along with the flow. Okay.
Yeah. Yes, yes, Mansi.
Prachiti, Shiva, shall we go to the honoring section and then we
Yes,
get an interact
please. Yes.
with the idea centric economy, okay? Or idea centric society. Prachiti, uh, over to you. Quantum Prachiti.
Thank you so much, Mansi. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Shivo. Sorry, Prachiti. Shivo, a lot of people have asked exactly what is observation and how we are supposed to. So, can we deal with that in
Yes.
the
So
next section?
yeah, yeah. So we will do the invocation process. In that, we will have some component of observation, and when we discuss the economy, there also we'll discuss a bit about observation.
Because people want to know that is it different from imagination? And
So,
when you said when you talked
imagination,
about yeah,
visualization, affirmation, chanting is totally different than
so
observation.
we will briefly Shiva get into that. They also want to know what was that subtle plane you were talking about before things become real and concrete. So
Yeah.
we'll talk about that a little. Yeah.
Yes, yes. We'll talk that in the next session.
Yeah. Thank you so much. And Prachiti, yes, over to you.
Sure. Thank you once again. Pranam, everyone. And it's really a very interesting session today that we have. Of course, every Tuesday session is interesting where we discuss really the relevant issues. And look, the moment we started with the discussion itself, so many questions are popping up in the minds of people, the listeners. And I could see so many are too engrossed. But um, I think we would add on to the energy vortex if we discuss real time people who have had stories which are no less than miracles. So I'm happy to announce that the honorees, we have two today, and both of them happen to be connected to Quanto Life. They have had this experience of Quanto Life. They have had these miracles experienced. So it's not just about honoring them, it's also about listening to them as to how they have come to understand quantum concepts, how they've employed these concepts in their life, in their business, in their passion, and what conclusion have they derived.
Yeah. Also,
God,
Prachiti, I would
yes, Shiva?
also like to take this opportunity
Yes, Shiva.
to invite people to nominate. If you know someone, he can be a quanto or a non-quanto, is, it can be anyone who has accomplished something in any field. And if you would like to nominate anyone, it would be our honor to honor them in one of the Deva Magic sessions. So we are inviting nominations uh, for this honoring process, which we have every week. And if you have any nominations, please forward it to Prachiti. She will go deeper into that. Yeah. So yes, Prachiti, you can just give your contact, and everybody can connect with you.
Sure, 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 Shiva. So we have been talking about honor, and they say that God promises are like the stars. The darker the night, the brighter they shine. And the more we want to shine, the more brighter, brightest, whatever. So we have to be prepared mentally, physically, emotionally, and nowadays we talk about psychologically also, no, for darker nights. And when we talk about darker nights, we really want to have a support system like Quanto Life around that supports us in that difficult phase, in that difficult period, and then miracles happen. So I would go about the formal introduction of our honorees today later. But I really want Shalabh Mittalji, who wanted to speak he expressed that he wanted to speak about how he got to meet Shivo, how he got connected, and how and when Quanto Life came into the entire scene of Shalab mythology becoming what Shalab mythology is today. Shalabji?
No, no, Shalav was always a star even before he joined the Quanto Life. Yes, but I mean, yeah, we have enjoyed his company and he has enjoyed us. Yeah, but he was accomplishing even before he joined Quanto Life, and it's our honor that people like him join us.
Definitely, Shivo. Shalabji?
Yeah, thank you very much, everyone, all the contours. And Shiva pranams to you. Thank you for giving this opportunity. Being honored is an honor. And only one thing that I can say is I'm grateful, and gratitude is the only virtue that I can express here. But what I really wanted to speak, why I wanted to speak is because I've not got many platforms in Conto sessions itself, to maybe share a small glimpse of the background, the story of how we met, how I met Shivo. It was almost like 4 years, literally 5 years ago. This was in 2016. I know Shivo will recall that we had met in Delhi at Zorba the Buddha.
I have my own side of the story also,
I
that
know.
also I will share.
I know, yeah. Yeah, but that was a time, I must say, that I was going through a very difficult phase. So I have been, from my childhood, I've been a devotee of Sai Baba, and I'm a Sai Bhakt. And in my life, I have seen whenever difficult times have come, I have met spiritual masters and people who have kind of become an anchor. And at that point in time, so this was very crucial when my mother was diagnosed with cancer. And I did not know this. Means it was not diagnosed till I met Shiva, but it happened just 20 days later. And this was a very difficult time because I live with my mother alone here, and my brother and my sister, they live in different cities. So and I'm the youngest one, so it kind of fell on me in a way. Didn't know whether I was capable of doing it or not, but it just happened. And at that point in time, while she was going through chemo, every month taking her for chemo, all those ordeals, I would say that you as much as you have your strong side, but you also have your fearful side. And after her chemotherapy was completed, and she was operated upon, and all the things were done, exactly 8 months later, or 9 months later, the doctor said that we'll need to do a PET scan, because we need to see that what's really happened, is what's about the cancer. And that's the time when I was actually doing FFS, and I was constantly in touch with Shivo. And when this PET scan had to be done, um, doctors had told the date. I reached out to my brother. He said, sorry, I can't come. My sister, she said, no, I'm sorry, I don't think that I can make it. And it was literally about mustering up the courage to do it. And I must say that it is that virtue when I really lacked it. Okay, it's that time when I think Shivo held my hand, and I think FFS came to my rescue, I must say. And with all the courage I mustered, and I took her for her PET scan, and when the results came, the doctor said that cancer is gone, cancer is cancelled. And that was a miracle. Of course, it was a miracle. It is a miracle. She is hale and hearty 5 years later. Also, just today I went to meet the oncologist. I had gone to hospital for a regular checkup, and the doctor says that she's doing absolutely fine. She's not been on any medicine, nothing for that matter, for the last 5 years. After her surgery and chemo. So what I really want to say is that if we are in gratitude and always open to receiving, it will come to us. It may come in many forms. It may come in form of Shivo. It may come in form of Osho. It may come in form of Sai Baba. It may come in any form. But I think it's there with us. But it's up to us whether we are open to receiving or not. And I think for me, that is extremely important. And I feel that I'm blessed in a way that and also feel that I need more and more of it. So as you say, the night gets darker, the stars have to shine brighter, but the dark side, is also a little scary one. So you need people who can make you shine. So I think that's what Quanto Life and what Shivo is to me, who have helped me, to shine brighter. That's what I would say. And I think I just want to make a reference to what Mansi was saying in the beginning about the.
And from my side, let me share my side of the story of meeting Shalabh. So that day I had invoked Naradji, and at times, and I had a very deep experience. And but then I said, okay, if I really experience you today, then I want evidence that within next half an hour, or I said 1 hour or something, within next 1 hour, I should meet someone who is extremely wonderful and valuable. So just that time I was living in Zorba in Delhi. And right after that, I went for breakfast. I completed my breakfast. And there the Shalabh was shouting from far. He was shouting from far. He was calling me. And right at that moment, I knew that he is the gift of Naradji in my life. Yes.
Thank you, Shivo. Thank you.
Yeah, please.
I just wanted to also, say when Mansi was mentioning in the beginning about the Brahma, is basically my whole relationship with entrepreneurship. And I heard Shivo around the same time in 2017, and we discussed about this, the Brahma principle and how entrepreneurship is related to Brahma principle. I think that's the time when we were doing entrepreneurs Quanto and Quanto entrepreneurs. Yeah, that and this is something which I tell to all the people who come to me for our entrepreneurship program. And when Mansi mentioned that it was Brahma who was a weak god, yeah, he was going everywhere. Koi bhi dikkat aati hai, koi pareshani aati hai, he'll go for and seek for help. And I must say that seeking help or asking for help is one of the biggest virtues of an entrepreneur, of the Brahma. You can't create it alone. You must never shy away from asking or seeking help. Imagine Brahma never went to ask for help for himself. He went to seek help for the cause of humanity. He went to seek help for the cause of Devas. And that's the beauty of it. So he was not selfish. And when you're seeking help, comes from that greater good and the larger good, and you want to create, and you have that deep passion to create, I think Brahma manifests. And that's what, entrepreneurship is the way that entrepreneurship also manifests. So I think that's what my one big takeaway from, my interaction with Shivo almost 4 years ago when we discussed about this Brahma principle. So thank you, Mansi, for bringing it up, and thank you, Shivo, for these pearls of wisdom.
What an excellent observation, Shalabh. I mean, really, and thank you for bringing that up. And that is so. And even in Quanto Life, Shivo, that is why we believe in collaborations. We do it all alone. We want to find the best person to do it. And you alluded to Brahma. He could have just said, "I am the creator. Okay, I'll do it." But he just found the best person to do it. And I think that is also the spirit. We applaud that spirit of Brahma, and it's really something we should imbibe. Love you, Shalabh.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
What a wonderful conversation we just had. And in fact, we got to hear almost everything that we had been looking for. Shalabhji, Shivo's concepts of wisdom circle, his concept of collaborating. He has always been talking about sharing. He's been really insisting everybody, all those who are new novices, who join, new joinees. He's been telling them to share. The more you share, he says, the more you actually benefit. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
God's promises are like stars, as we discussed, and darker the night. And this thought itself gives us so much energy that if the things are not going the way we have wanted them to be going, like, that means there is really something exceptionally beautiful for us in future. So all the attendees here who who have been having so much of introspection because of the topic itself, I think will feel very relieved and very happy. Today's honor ceremony, again, I would say reputation is what other people know about you, and honor is what you know about yourself. And I'm very happy and very glad to introduce the honorees for the
By
day.
the way, before you move on to Sachin, would you like to share the story about him, which is carried in a book which you found
Yes.
in your bookshelf? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So let's
Again,
know,
sure, Shivo.
some success story of Shalab. He has been instrumental in creation of, I don't know how many social enterprises, which Shalab can say. And I know one thing, that he has worked with all the range of social projects, all the range of NGOs all across the country. You sit down with him in every, literally you will feel like in every district in India, there is an NGO he has supported. And can you share that success story, and
Yes, yes,
in
I
which
will.
book it was there?
Sure. I will share the incident itself because it happened today in the afternoon while I was on a phone call with Shalabji. This is for the interest of the audience. We were talking, and I was telling him that I would like to know more and more about him because I was going to. We were going to have this ceremony today. Later on, somehow, when he was texting to me regarding something important, some information to share, he very casually shared with me a book cover. And Rashi, I would request if you have that snapshot with you, if you could share it with the audience. Shalabji shared a book cover page with me, and then followed some more pics. But that cover page that was there on my screen, mobile screen, was something I could instantly connect to, because it was like whatever we are discussing, folks, it's actually happening. And I'm very happy to share that one day when I was really into too much of introspection, I happened to walk into a bookstore, and then there was a display of books. And this title, it was on the display, and it read Heroes Amongst Us. I'll proceed further. It says inspirational stories of ordinary people who achieved extraordinary success. Now I got stuck. This book is in front of me. I am on a leisure, a break from routine, into that bookstore. I love books, and this title attracts me. And I pick it, I bring it home, I read it thoroughly. I'm through. And that happened. Months passed. And today the same book cover is on my mobile screen. And then beyond that, when I opened the book, it was very much in my shelf. What do I see? I actually see an article there, uh, compiled by Dr. Amit Nagpal, and it was the article about Shalabji. His The ordinary person who became extraordinary, and his extraordinary inspirational story was very much there in that book. So we were talking about synchronicity, we were talking about manifestations. um, Rashi, if you could share that article, the pics that were sent by Shalabji, for the sake of audience. And audience, please note down the title, and I would suggest go through this book, and in particular, go through the write up about Shalab Mittalji. Right? You would actually like it, and everybody would be definitely inspired. Now, formally, I introduce, yeah, Rashi is sharing. Look, what Shalabji shares had already come to me in my hand, and I had read that write up. It was Shalabji. I'm telling you, I can't have words for the sheer, happiness that I had in the afternoon today. This is the article. This is the writer, The True Story of Shalabji. So, dear audience, please note down the title, and uh, you also drop in once in crossword, in the crossword store. Thank you so much, Rashi. This is it. And it has the entire uh, interesting story to read. Yeah. Uh, Please put yourselves on mute, dear audience. Shalabh Mittalji is the founding CEO of School for Social Entrepreneurs India, alumnus of Shri Satyasai Institute of Higher Learning, Indian Law Institute, and Entrepreneurship Development Institute of India. Really a well learned man. He has over 2 decades of multi sectoral experience in health, livelihoods, water, sanitation, social entrepreneurship. He has led the first state based water and sanitation network in Gujarat between 2003 to 2005, advocating the community based water supply system. He served as the South Asia Regional Coordinator of the Gender and Water Alliance GWA based in Netherlands. He has facilitated social startups among women affected by HIV and AIDS. Since 2007, he has been engaged with promotion of social entrepreneurship. He has been part of several studies and projects for various international development organizations such as World Bank and FAO at the UN, UNDP, UNICEF, Aga Khan Foundation. There are so many. His profile is all too rich. So here, Shalabh Mittalji, who we feel honored to honor for setting up many social enterprises. Shalabji, I request the
Yes.
spotlight be put on Shalabji.
Thank you so much, everyone.
And Shalabji, this is a small token from Quanto Life that Rashi will share. A small token of appreciation. And we really want you to excel, soar in your life, and come back to us and share your experience and share your learning with Quantos, the certificate, Rashi. Yeah. Shalabji, please receive
Thank you
it.
so much for
And
this honor.
this is for your contribution towards setting up many social enterprises. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
The next person coming up is Sachin Mahajanji. Um,
Everyone, pranam to everyone.
yes, Sachinji again, I would repeat that Sachinji also has been associated with Quanto Life. He has practiced what we have been learning, we have been experiencing. He is the founder and principal business coach at Dr. Biz Ventures LLP, a business coaching organization. Under the banner of Dr. Biz, Sachin is coaching multiple business owners from diverse verticals through one to one as well as group business coaching. Business coach Sachin has more than 11 years of experience as an entrepreneur. After completing his engineering and MBA from a prestigious institute, he gathered experience across various business functions, including sales and business development, IT and telecom, consulting, and now business coaching. While I was talking to Sachin ji in the afternoon, I happened to discuss with him because I could not keep my inquisitive mind at bay. I asked him, Sachinji, how do you see now in the COVID times? I request the spotlight be put on Sachinji. Uh, in the COVID times, when service class people are thinking that they are so much in their comfort zones, and business class, that was my perception, was thinking that they were in dangerous waters. So how come he would associate business coaching and Shalab I must share, Sachinji answered in such a lucid and fluent manner. He said, it's perseverance. It's all about perseverance. So, Sachinji, would you want to elaborate on this?
Well, thank you, Chiti, and thank you, Quanto family, for honoring me. So this is again an honor. Obviously, everything has a story. So I have a lot of stories where I met Shivo, where
Yeah.
we started. So we saw, so I liked about the thought process because it matched, and we started, basically dealing with each other. That's how it all started. So when
Do
the time
share,
comes,
Sachinji. Do share
you
those
want me to
stories.
share that story? Okay, so
Yeah,
great.
please.
So as you had mentioned that I work with business owners, entrepreneurs, and I help them build new age autopilot businesses, right? So last year I had my theme rather as miraculous, right? So I had decided that I'll add something to the curriculum, and because I've always been wanting to do that. The miraculous was the theme, and that's when one of our G2G, we call as good to great community, right? Sandhya Bide happened to share the invite of Deva Magic to me. Typically, I don't go to Facebook and tend to see this, but sheer synchronicity again, right? So I saw something there because I was thinking of miraculous part, and Deva Magic was talking about miracles, right? So I thought about it for a while, and then I ultimately got into it. It was I think a WhatsApp session, right? I mean, almost 20, 21 days program. And I could not really believe that, all these things can actually happen on WhatsApp, right? So the kind of crazy things were happening on the group, right? Opening the temples, doing the FFS process, for inviting devas and stuff like that. So it was awesome. So in that, I really liked it, and I did took two projects, and it got manifested actually. So I took two projects. One got manifested quickly within 2, 3 months, and one was really close, right? So this got manifested just 2 months back, right? So both the projects have got manifested. And after that, then before that, I had not actually met Shivo, but then again an opportunity came where there was a program called uh, Life Sutra, right? Where we met at Osho Saraswati in
Success
Lonavala, and
Sutra.
that's when we met.
Success
And
Sutra.
yeah, Success Sutra, yeah, the Success Sutra. So the first, I remember that he was sitting there, and I had a plate in my hand. I still recollect that moment, right? When I sat across, he was talking to other people, and then when we started talking to each other, you know, uh, I started speaking about Babaji Maharaj, right? Mahavatar Babaji. And that's when he narrated his own story where how he, met Mahavatar Babaji, in his cave, right? So that was like, again, synchronicity part where we had the same, person whom we were basically following, right? So, and that's how we got connected. And, again, a lot of ideas came out while we went through that 3 day retreat. It was a lot of crazy, in fact, almost 16 pages of notes I had collected in that program of 3 days, right? So it was like so many ideas got created while we were with nature, while we were with all the quantos and quanto Shivo, right? So it was awesome experience. I had some of my community members also with me, right? Because I had wonderful experience of Deva Magic. So I told him, them to be with me. So almost four of us were there, and they also enjoyed it. And that's since that day
That's
we are basically associated with
that is very
Quanto.
interesting, Sachinji. And Shivo sir, it brings me to in fact one big conclusion, that whenever we eat together, we are going to kind of stick together and discuss. Shalabji also mentioned something to do with food,
Food,
and food table, and Sachinji also has the same story. That's
right?
great.
That's a
Over
wonderful pattern, I
breakfast.
guess. Yes, you found it.
That is
Yeah.
why Sachin always offers some good food and a breakfast in all his free seminars.
Right.
So wonderful. And Sachinji also mentions, in fact, while I was going through his profile, and I would like to share, he mentions that, working with nature, being in fact with Mother Nature, is also one of his hobbies. And this also caught my attention because I had never come across any person who would share being in nature as a hobby. People talk about mountaineering, going to forests, and all sorts of adventure sports. But Sachinji, what would you want the audience to know? What is being with nature?
So let's even talk about Osho Saraswati for that matter. I already mentioned that we were with Mother Nature, right? So a lot of in Osho Saraswati, I remember that some sessions we took out in the nature, and when we did that, we had best of the ideas, right? So it's like this, you are with your mother, you are taken care of. That's the whole idea, right? You are open in the sky, the space is open, you are connected with Mother Earth. What best you can expect from life, right? So you're taken care of. That's what I can say when you are with Mother Earth, right? Mother Nature.
That's
Whatever you
very,
want, you can manifest with
yeah.
Mother.
If we are in nature, we are basically with everything that exists in this world.
One word, you are
That's
taken care of. That's it.
yeah, right. His hobbies include connecting people, experimenting with new ideas, and being with Mother Nature. He's a member of BNI TIE, Association of Mumbai Coaches. His key to success is continuous learning, willpower, self-belief, and meditation. Such words, Sachinji. How would you associate this continuous learning? Like, what is continuous learning? How long does it go on?
It's an ongoing process. That's what I can say. I mean,
Yeah,
till the time you take your last breath, you're learning, right? I mean, and you can learn from anyone and everyone, right? And your learning actually starts from, again, Mother Nature. If you can learn from Mother Nature, you have all the answers to your questions.
yeah,
So it's continuous process. That's what I can say, and all the more relevant nowadays, right? Because gone are the days. See, I would say you are just 1 month old, right? Whatever you learn, probably it will stay with you for a month, and it would have probably uh, expired. You need to again learn, and then apply it, so that you be the best person, or be the best version of yourself, right? So every
exactly.
day, every
Like in
month.
Quanto Life, yeah, point. We unlearn, we relearn, and we keep on this way learning, right? So we have again, we have a small token, Sachin ji, as a matter of, we feel so glad, like Shivo has mentioned, we feel honored to honor people like you. So I would request Rashi to share it on the screen. A small token for Sachinji for guiding traditional businesses to enter new age at Deva Magic Series Brahma Invocation.
Thank you
So
very much. Thank you, Quanto family, for this wonderful gesture, gratitude, and love. Thank you, Shivo, Mansi. Thank you, Prachiti.
thank you so much, Sachinji, for being with all of us here. Uh, Mansi, I think there's a lot to really know from Sachinji and Shalabji. We can actually have an entire session, right? Because whatever
Absolutely,
Shivo has
absolutely.
been,
And
it's like
yes,
whatever Shivo has been talking about, we have the practical aspect in our honorees for the day.
absolutely. We get to see different applications and how they are applying it in their social enterprises or their businesses, and which is why we will do longer sessions. But today we're not going to let them go, and we are going to enter into a panel discussion because we have many burning questions. But yes, we do need, they are so interesting. It is not enough to just contain them and their wisdom and insights in 15 minutes or half an hour. So I'm with you on that, Prachiti. I hope they will do longer sessions with us and we can get deeper into everything they've touched today. Yeah.
Thank you, Mansi. Thank you.
And awesome. Thank you, Prachiti, for showing us different aspects of them, for your questions so
Most
that we
welcome.
could see these facets. Thank you. So now we come to panel discussion. We're going to talk about the idea-centric society. But before that, get your fingers ready. Some questions just to create, just to check in where everyone is. So my first question is, what was necessary for success about 50 years ago? So 50 years, 25 years ago, what were the keys to be successful then? What do you think was the key to success in the past? Could you just let me know on chat? just to know where we are together as a group before we launch into discussions. Okay, so Sanjay says knowledge, Durga says hard work. What else? Persistence. I invite everyone, that will luck. Mukul says luck. Sunita says specialization. Nitika says connections and network. The guy's like, yeah, luck we need today also. No war. Okay, war was war. That is very interesting because the First World War and the Second World War both did very different things. We've talked about this in our earlier sessions, but okay, war is a factor. Anything else? What was needed during your parents' time, during your grandparents' time? What was needed? How did they become successful? Think of the industrialists. Divya says money. Yes, you would see that money would go to money. That's what they used to say actually. Money will go to money. Relationships, okay. Yeah, connections. So were the connections different in that time compared to now? Were the connections that you made for success different in any way? Okay, so now we come, the connects were different and deeper. Okay, so taking care of family to ensure all benefited through the sacrifice. Okay, that was what happened previously. Okay. Okay, so now we come to the present moment. What is necessary for success in this age? Okay, so Suman says in earlier joint families, these were successful. So what do we need for this age? What do you think is needed for success in this age or now? When you look around, what do you see? Dirga says adaptability to change, true. New ideas. Navni says new ideas. Natika says new ideas. Anyone else? New knowledge creation, wisdom circles. We have Shivo, a lot of Quanto ideas have gotten integrated now in us. Creativity, yes, Anamika. Anything else? What is, y'all can, if y'all see any change, you can even write about that. Or Shivo's blessings. Focus on new ideas, innovation, creation through using interface between tech and energies. Age. Yeah, I would also like to add that a lot of creation is coming from the merger of different fields. Earlier success would come from, just innovating in one field maybe, but now the merger, coming together of diversity. Anything else? Ability to tap the unknown. So how do you tap the unknown, Mukul? Being good. Do you think that, so Sanjay, do you think we need to be grounded more now than we did before for success? Okay. Purity of intention, ability to handle, energy beyond ourselves and our capabilities. Okay. So Shivo and Sachin, what do you think? Do you have awareness is necessary? Critics, someone says critics.
Let Sachin
Very
take
good.
more time. Let Sachin take more time because I keep speaking.
Right, so are we talking about business here or overall life? Are we talking?
You can talk about business or overall life. Maybe
Yes, yeah.
So I will talk more about careers and other dimensions of life, maybe.
Okay.
But feel free, whatever comes to you. Yeah.
I'll focus.
Yeah,
more
whatever
on
comes to you.
Yep. Okay.
Yes.
So one factor.
Because you're the Dr. Biz.
So if I have to, if I have to take one thing for success today, really is, everything taken care of, which is basic necessity in a business, that your solving a problem, you've got right product, services, and stuff like that. Overall, if you have a community of your clients, right, so that is a success factor today, right? And what is important is what they do within the community with each other, right? So that is one of the biggest success factors in today's era, right? Building a community of your ideal clients and helping them work with each other and create miracles out of those connections. So that's
So it's the interest-based family and no more the joint families. Earlier, it was a power was coming from joint families. Now the power is coming from intention-oriented families, isn't it?
yep.
Shalab, when you feel like, you can jump in, whenever you
Yes, Shalabh. I was just going to say that. Yeah, please jump in. Uh, what do you think, Shalabh? What is necessary for success today?
So, I really feel that, there's a huge shift in mindsets, if you talk about today. So a very personal thing, when 5 years ago, when we were setting up the school for social entrepreneurs, so one thing that we said was that we need to believe that everybody has the capacity to be remarkable. And that has to be the tagline for us, that there is no caste, class, religion, background, paisa hai, nahi hai, padhai hai, nahi hai. You will not believe the first of the set of entrepreneurs that we worked with. We had a migrant labor, a school dropout, a college dropout, a PhD doctor, all sitting in the same classroom and learning with us. So I think that is the real, that's the reality today. Okay, so I think this is going to expand. You look at the way people are using online classes. We wouldn't have expected this to happen, or smart classes to happen, if this pandemic had not really shown an opportunity. You talk about anyone today is talking about smart classes or smartphones, teaching kids. So I think that is a very, very important dimension in today's. One more thing that I want to basically answer to your question, that what happened 50 years ago, what really meant. So I really feel that in Bible, Christ said, walking an extra mile. And I think people were leaving their hometowns to move to other cities to earn their livelihood. I think that was walking, taking an extra mile. And I think that was a very big factor. And the other thing was, which in today's, or somewhere, in our psychic philosophy, it will not be respected or will not be accepted, is, sacrifice. पर मुझे लगता है कि आज से 50 साल पहले सैक्रिफाइस की काफी वैल्यू थी. आज शायद हम उसको एक अलग नजरिए से देखते हैं, but I really feel that walking an extra mile and you were sacrificing something for the larger good. That were the they took the pie 50 years ago, but today that's not going to really work.
So today it is the individuality which has become very important. So people will take so much effort, and they will do everything to get their 15 minutes of fame. So I think that is one point everybody who wants success today must get, that this is the key longing. And I always say this, that society is no more money centric. And proof of that is, suppose you go to a party and there is a person who is worth 100 crores. And on another side, there is a person who has just come back after a photo shoot from African jungle. Okay, now to whom the people will go? I mean, will they go to that 100 crore guy, or would they go to that photo shoot guy? Who will be surrounded with people, right? So it's no more the money which attracts people. So that thing that money gives you prestige is over, actually. That is one huge change. Yeah. Yes, Mansi, please.
So there's several things here. I'm thinking of what Shalabh said. Once upon a time, when he says that there's a migrant laborer, there is a school dropout, there is a PhD guy. So I think that this is such a far cry from what it used to be, even like, let's say 20, 25 years ago. That, when I came to US, there was this word, or not just in US, the old boys network, where only, there would be this moneyed class, and only they would attract more moneyed people, and then they would, you would have Harvard, and which would take in some diversity, but it was majorly the people who were trustees on them. It was a very select club, and only those people got the best jobs, only those people got the MBAs, those people got the, became the CEOs.
Yeah.
And then now we have Bill Gates, who has dropped out of the Ivy League. You have Steve Jobs, and you have all these new ideas that have come, that have won, and not the education, not the pedigree, as they say. Um, so yes, there is a huge change. Shivu, you talked about everyone wants that 15-minute of fame. So we are talking about everyone wants to be a brand. How is that a part of the idea centric society? Why has that become so
Now
important?
that realization is coming now, that everybody is a unique being, and the venture you create should be based on that. Earlier we would find the career based on what is the trend in society. If everybody is going into IT, I will also go into IT, and today it's a certain recipe for disaster. So if you really want to sustain and flourish in life, you have to first discover what is your unique potential. I mean, you have to plan your life based on that, and none of the education is going to help you. None of the education. I mean, what will really help you is this discovery. Yeah. So you have
Finding
to
your unique
spend, a
potential.
lot of time and energy into discovering yourself, rather than, I mean, what you study in colleges is all known. It is all from the past, and it's not going to be working for future. And I'm sure that Sachin will also agree to this. All businesses who are based on their on what used to happen in past, and they have their reference points from past, are struggling. So I would actually like to know from Sachin that how businesses are meeting the challenge of when the unknown future unravels. How do you deal with that?
Right. So as of now, if I have to, tell you the real story, that a lot of and most of them MSME business owners, they have been doing business a very, very traditional way. They have been doing certain things. They were working for them, and they were getting results, right? So whatever results they were getting, they were okay with it, right? Today, now things have changed completely, and their cheese is actually moved, right? So a lot of people are not even able to accept the change, right? I have seen some of them have also given up on their dreams. I mean, that's the fact, right? So that's the challenge. They are not able to really deal with these challenges. How do we deal with these challenges? Basically, first of all, accepting that it is real, right? I mean, you can't resist. Otherwise, maximum of your energy will go into resistance and nothing will happen, right? So the first thing is accepting what it is, right? The reality. And then looking forward, that what is that we wanted to do in life, right? So sometimes I have also seen that people's dreams have been older dreams. I will give you uh, an example where I have a client, wonderful lady, doing awesome in her business, right? Today she is running uh, rather she is almost helping more than 400 women on their weight loss program. She's a dietitian basically. So every month on month she's getting at least 400 clients, and some it was her old dream that she will have multiple clinics across. Now look at the situation where she is able to do it digitally today, and somewhere her old dream popped up, where she thought of now getting into uh, establishing clinics. So the first question I had asked her is basically that you are digital today, right? Your customers are not supposed to come to your place, right? If you're putting in rather branches or probably clinics, you are expecting your clients to come to you, right? Today you have reached to, she's dealing with 82 countries as of now. I mean, clients from 82
Yeah.
countries are able to, right? Today, when you're putting a branch or probably a clinic, you are expecting your local customers because it becomes hyper local, right? So sometimes, we also need to rejuvenate our old dreams, right? So she might not have challenged her old dreams right now, and so she realized that mistake, and then today she's not even thinking of putting more clients. She's thinking of how can I reach to more number of people, how can I cater to not only 400 clients every month, probably thousands of clients. So she has a dream of now serving 1 million women, right? So that's the kind of, so first is checking whether dreams are real today, or probably they have relevance today. Are they older dreams, right? So one is that. So renew your dreams. First is accept this change, renew your dreams, and then what is that next step, right? What is that new thought process? Because if you look at the new ways of doing business, they are completely different than the traditional business, right? So you need to really learn the new laws of getting into businesses, and just apply that. And that's what I've been in fact doing. So I've launched a program literally for that helping people to change their old mindset, and shifting their traditional mindset to a new age mindset altogether, so that they will
And,
not be actually doing those mistakes.
and that's where I would like to bring in the observation, Brahma observation aspect. A lot of people see the most successful companies of today. You will wonder that how come they are just flowing with the times. I mean, there is Google, there is Amazon, and they always take something. They always take a step which is always in harmony with how the times are changing. How does that happen? I mean, you cannot set up goals and do that, right? You cannot set up goals in such a fast moving environment. So, what to do? And there is I suspect that they have either they have a process or they have a natural gift of flowing with the future, how the future is unraveling. But I would tell you that from in Quanto Life, we already have a process through which you can keep flowing with the future. And that fundamental again comes from the understanding of subtle planes of reality. Like I explained about the David Bohm's concept that whatever manifests today in the world has already happened, sometime back in those subtle reality planes. So how if you remain connected with those planes, if you remain connected with what is happening in those planes now, you're already connected with what is going to happen in future. Not only you are connected, but you are observing what's happening in those psychic planes, and you're actually the co-creator of future. So and so this is you got to tap the unknown. And there is a beautiful understanding we have in Quantum Life how to tap the unknown. uh, when you synthesize what you know with what you don't know. Okay, so you already know something. For example, you have a business and you have a lot of feedback coming from everywhere, right? So that is something you know. You have the feedback from your customer, you have feedback from your peers, from your team, from your wisdom circle. All that feedback is coming. So you have to increase what you know about today. So a lot of people, there is this tendency today of positive thinking, which is really harming a lot. It's a very dangerous thinking, actually, because it doesn't allow you to really see where the reality is. And there is a lot of thinking about when you are positive, thinking positive, the problems which are there, you just tend to brush them under the carpet. You just say, okay, I don't want to see the problems. And you're actually creating harakiri. I mean, you are committing harakiri. And so enhance what you can know as much as possible about the past and the present, and have very powerful questions, right? And how will you have powerful questions? When what you know, and when you will set it up under a large context, you will have questions, lots and lots of questions. In fact, the more you will know, more questions you will have. And when you can feel the both together, when you can observe the both together, the reality of what you know and what you don't know in terms of questions, when you observe both together, you will be surprised. You will be automatically moving in with the times, with how the future is manifesting. And so many of us in Quanto have experienced this, that we are actually all the time, we are in the harmony of whatever is happening. We may not know what will happen tomorrow, but we are always falling in line with what is going to happen. So, this is really the magic. I really feel that today's businesses are extremely spiritual. They got to have very deep spiritual fundamentals. Without that, businesses cannot sustain today. Yes.
Just one insight from what question Mansi asked about the personal brand. I think, in my own experience, I would say that today, social media is one of the largest tools of creating our personal brands. Consciously, with awareness, without awareness, we're actually creating a personal brand online all the time by the kind of posts that we create, by the kind of things that we like, we dislike. Imagine a person who sends you a good morning message every day of a certain kind is creating a personal brand in your mind. Imagine a person who is posting messages around about religion on a daily basis is creating a personal brand of a particular kind. So I think, in today's world, this personal brand is one of the biggest determinants of what you are going to achieve in your life and in your business.
Absolutely.
And you can create a personal brand only if you're very clear about yourself. Otherwise, you will be sending the confusing messages.
Exactly. So
you have to deal with your own confusion first. Right. And you have to find out who am I? And you have to find out that where I am actually following the society, where I'm following the others, and that's not me. Right. You have to be very clear about it. When you are following who you are, then you create a personal brand. Yes, Sachin, you want to say something about the...
It is said that you are what you share, right? So consciousness, again, if you have decided that I'm going to create a personal brand, then you have a strategy at hand, and then you keep doing it, and you keep doing it persistently, then you become a brand. If you're not aware, then it's a confusion, complete confusion, right? Nobody knows who you are, what kind of a brand you are, right? So, and the results obviously don't speak then. And so that's what I have to share about personal brands. And yes, you're right, Shalabh, in that sense that, social media, in fact, social media wants you to become personal brand, because in that case, you'll be end up using, their products or probably their services, right? So it's like feeding each other. It's like feeding each other.
Anybody in today's world who really has this aspiration of making it really big and accomplishing something big through some kind of a personal expression, like music, or anything which is oriented to your personality. Anybody who wants to make it really really big has to really go on this self discovery. If you haven't discovered that uniqueness about yourself, I mean, you cannot go far. Only those people who have discovered themselves, they are the one who are the superstars. And those who can continuously discover themselves, rediscover themselves, they are the one who will remain the stars. Otherwise, they will just shine and falter.
Right.
So
so I would like to throw this into a more broader context, of what you're saying, because, you're talking about personal brand, how it is important to know your unique potential. Even businesses have their uniqueness, right? Even every business will have their uniqueness. So that makes me, this is a question we hear a lot about how should we advertise? Advertise, because because what is brand is advertising yourself, right? If you're on social, you're advertising yourself. So so we get this question a lot, like, how should I advertise? Should I do direct marketing? Should I do this? I would love to hear all your thoughts on how we should advertise either ourselves, because even if you're sending a resume to a company, you're advertising yourself. If you're running a business, again, sometimes Elon Musk is more well known than Tesla also. So again, you are advertising yourself even if you're in business, and then the business has a brand. So how do you, I'd like to hear from all of you, how do we advertise ourselves? And then we have some more questions, we'll get into that. So yeah, how do we advertise ourselves, or how do we advertise our companies? What is the future of advertisement? Where are we right now? To all of you, whoever would like to go first.
Right. Yes.
Mansi, can I go?
Yes, please.
Today, brand is about conversations, not about communication, as it was 18 years ago when I was in advertising in Linta. It is about conversations you have. Today, it is about conversations. It's not about communication. And we are in the
How do we
digital
have,
age.
and the best way to have the conversation is the community. So today the brand is not, I mean, you can spend millions, but actually achieve no results. That's what companies are experiencing today. And I mean, it is basically, I really feel today's promotion is all about the value creation model, which I went to the Sachin's seminar, and the way he explained was really beautiful. How the value creation model of branding works. Maybe Sachin can say
Could you
something.
share that, Sachin? Could you elaborate on that a little?
I mean, so see, advertising, first of all, branding, and so advertising is very small part of, branding. Branding is a much bigger part. Right. In one way, if I have to, tell you that how you create a brand is basically, if people know you for that one thing, then you are a brand. Right. So,
Okay.
and that is what one thing we need to figure out. Right. And probably we can then link it with, what Shivo always says, that what is that your essence, right? What you know about yourself. If people know you, for that one thing which you are really good at, or what you are, then you are a brand, right? And then ultimately, then strategy comes, through advertising. You communicate that, and then you start attracting people, right? So that's how it is. The first question, so branding is bigger part, advertising is just a small part to achieve to that objective, right? As far as advertising goes, it is going to stay, right? Because if you look at the numbers, right, Facebook and Google, they have their maximum revenue coming out of advertisements, right? So they're going to stay. Only thing is, the things have changed. Is earlier people used to, so it used to gimmick also, right? People used to think that, ads are probably not. So now things have changed, when advertising will work more in a better sense when you create opportunities, for your customers, or probably your audience, right? So uh, let me give you an example. If you say that, this these are the features of my product, these are the benefits of my products, and please buy my product. That is one way of, doing an advertising. And the second is, these are the features, these are the benefits, right? And this is an opportunity for you to test my product, right? Which is better. So when you are creating an opportunity for your audience to, test your product, or probably add value to them, that becomes even more effective. And that, if you are able to do that, if you are able to create opportunities for your audience to, add value to them through advertisements, then it is going to stay, or rather, this is the right way of, doing it. That's what I was, talking about. So it's all about attracting them and probably adding value to them. So marketing is all about converting your suspect into prospect by adding value to them, right? Adding value is very, very important. If you're not able to do that, it is just a gimmick, nothing else.
And there is one thing we were discussing. Like, for example, there is Amazon today. Now, I mean, it has captured a large share of online retailing. So now people, now that is the only brand you know. So if at any point of time you want to buy something, you'll go to Amazon, and maybe you will at times go to Flipkart, right? So there is no chance for a third brand to enter here, right? For you to think about anyone where you have all the products, it is not possible. So once somebody has created a brand, it is not possible to displace that. So only way they can fall is when they commit harakiri and they start to make big mistakes. Otherwise, nobody can displace them. So we were talking and we were discussing that, is there a future for any retailer when Amazon has come? So then there's this deep realization, you can beat Amazon, and there is a way for that. And the way is when you create a community, right? And in that community, and that community, who is running that community is the person whose being it is. So every person has his own unique potential, and every person on the earth can create their own unique community. And when you create products there, those products are going to be far more valuable than Amazon, and people will always pay a higher price for your product than what they will pay at Amazon. So the way to set up your shops, if you want to retail anything, now that slot of a general retailer is gone. So nobody, I mean, you can spend 5,000 crores, then also you can never displace Amazon. I mean, if today, if Ambani thinks that I can create a brand in retailing, they cannot do that. I mean, they can spend 5,000 crores or 50,000 crores. It is not possible. But without spending money, if you have a powerful community, which is having enriching relationships and experiences, there you can retail what your community is looking for. So I really feel the community is the future of the branding. So first is the self-discovery, and then comes the community. In between also there are many things like inspiration and wisdom circles. Yeah. One more interesting thing I found was, one more very interesting thing I would like to share with everyone. A lot of people used to talk about patents, protecting my ideas. And today that philosophy of protecting the ideas has gone for a toss. Today, anybody who wants to protect, sit over their ideas is finished. Today's world, you have to come out with the idea, you have to throw out in the world and see whether it works or not. If you are thinking, I will take this idea, I will patent it, and then I'll come out with a product, time is gone. And you know what? The wonderful thing today is that nobody actually wants to steal your idea. Today is a very unique society. People don't want to steal your idea. You know why? Because everybody thinks that their idea is superior to you. They're not bothered about your idea. And everybody today has got large number of ideas. So who has this listening to, I mean, to feel that your idea is good? Nobody accepts today that your idea is better than mine. Why would they steal? Nobody steals the ideas today. And that is why what has happened in today's society is that idea is no more priced very high. I mean, there are billions of ideas. Everybody is coming out with ideas. So idea is not really important also. So if idea is not important, then what is important? Important is the concept, not idea. To understand whether your idea is workable or not, for what kind of people it works, what value it creates, and whether you have the community which or ecosystem which really values that idea. If you don't have all that, then you can keep all your ideas, they all will die. Nothing is going to happen. So today,
what is the difference? Shivo, before you go further, what is the difference between an idea and a concept?
right. So, I mean, I was just watching this video. The idea was the person who created the Spider-Man, right? The idea was, I will create a superhero who has the capability of a spider, right? But that idea, if he goes out, it will be just thrown away. Like he says that my producer thrown it away. What nonsense? Who likes spiders? Right. So this person has to actually go around to many communities, test it, whether people are taking it or not. So he has to actually open the idea. I mean, he cannot think that I will first do the patents and then I will go out and test. Rubbish. You may have 100 ideas and one of that will work. So you have to just throw out. And one more thing about today's idea is only the person who has created the idea can really create a success out of it. You cannot steal an idea and create a success. You cannot. Because the person, there is this holistic being, from there the idea has emerged. I mean, who can steal your idea and do something out of it? Nobody can. Because having that idea is not enough. There is this whole thinking behind it. There is this whole life, this whole experiences you have lived. And the idea is the manifested product of that. So to really think whether this idea is valuable or not, how to really create a story out of this idea, to really find people who will welcome this idea, right? That is what is important. Idea is not important. No, idea is like there are millions of ideas flowing everywhere. A lot of people think I have got great ideas, so no, nothing. It's not, that's not going to work. You have to first figure out whether that idea is valuable or not. So you have to throw it, you have to test it out, check it, right? Yes,
So
Sachin. Yeah.
I'd like to take it ahead. We'll go from Amazon part to then probably ideas. So first, you said Shivo rightly said that Amazon. It would be pretty difficult to beat Amazon because they are doing right. So it would be difficult to beat Amazon because they are doing right stuff. They are reinventing all the time. They are obsessive about their customers, right? I mean, you think of Amazon Go, you go there, you pick it up, it is billed, you put it down, it is cut from your bill. You don't have to, if we go into DMart, we'll have to wait, right? Diwali times, you'll have to probably wait for 30 minutes, right? These guys are thinking about us, right? That you don't have to wait. Now they have come up with these dash buttons. Mansi would be aware that, you just have to push that button and then it will be reordered, right? So they are thinking about their customers. They are obsessive about it and they are able to actually implement it practically. And that's why, it would be difficult for, for people or other entrants to actually, rather give them a good tough fight, right? Unless you have a completely different model, right? Which probably
Yes.
Reliance is going to
You
have.
cannot beat them at their game.
Exactly, right? You need to have a new ball game altogether, right?
New game.
Just like what he did to telecom, probably he would end up doing with retail also. Because so the good part is, what he's banking on as far as, Reliance is that he's banking on Kirana stores, right? I mean, the real entrepreneur who's been there, since ages, right? And that too, who is serving or who is very close to his customers, right? So he's going to utilize the resources they are already there in the market. So he's just going to use that network and probably he's actually doing the right, playing the right game. And I'm sure he'll be able to do it.
That's
as
a
far as
whole
yeah.
different plan actually. They are not in the same niche, right? They are not, I mean, following the game of Amazon. They are creating.
No, exactly. It's a different ball game, but ultimately it is retail game, right? And as far as even a small company, Shivo, even a small company, if it has to beat Amazon in its game, they need to, size it down to one level. Let's say Amazon is serving 100 products, right? But if you take just one product and go deeper into it and, do it very, very customized for your customers won't mind, buying that product at, X amount, additional X amount of the price, right? So either you go deeper and focus
But for that, you have to create a community. Otherwise, who will know that
the community,
you don't have the budget for everybody. I mean, you cannot advertise. So for that you need community. And once you have community, then you don't have one product. But
so,
you have many products, right?
So it is said that for branding that, a brand is, born with publicity and then, you need nurture it with advertising. Right. So if you create something which is solving a real problem for even a niche group of people, right, you're gonna automatically get publicity, whether it is a word of mouth or probably free praise, right? And that's how you're gonna attract. And then you add up with advertising dollars or probably rupees to sustain that momentum, right? So that's how actually brands can sustain. But the whole thing is, if you have to beat them, you need to be really focused, and that's where we come to a point where observation, right? Ultimately, wherever you focus, the energy will go there, and you will be able to create results, manifestation, right? Coming back to patents, Shiva, as you rightly said that nobody's gonna steal your ideas, right? I mean, I'd like to give you an example here. Tesla, you talked about Tesla, Mansi, for that matter. So this guy, Elon Musk, he had all the patents which were required to, develop a wonderful company and probably have maximum share in Tesla, right? But then this guy opened up his share,
Opened
right?
it up, yes,
Patents,
absolutely.
right? Because his intention was that, it is pretty easy for companies to probably, find out new technology and probably, the whole idea is he focused on, he realized that his ball game is all about hiring best of the engineers and keeping them with him, right? So he understood the real ball game. And one more thing is why he actually opened up the patents also is he had purity of intention, right? That he wanted every other company to get into, car manufacturing, for that matter, electric car manufacturing, so that we get rid of this plasma, right? So that's the whole idea. So purity of intention, and yes, patents, anybody can steal your ideas, but as you rightly said, Shivo, again, that why people are not stealing their ideas, because they are not the mother and fathers of their idea, right? Your idea is like just your child, right? Whatever your child could be, but it is very dear to you, right? So not everyone who's not created that idea, they will not look at that idea as their child, and that's why they'll not be able to steal it, or they would not be even interested in stealing it. One more point is, when you create an idea, you actually, physical connections happen in your brain, and that's called exothermic reaction. Basically, you create wonderful energy, right? There are neurons which are getting fused with each other, and it's an exothermic reaction. It comes with wonderful energy, right? So it is said that in spiritual terms that an idea comes to you because you are ready for it, right? You are ready for that idea. It has come to you. If you don't take any action on it, it will find somebody else who is ready for that idea, and that
idea
other person probably will.
It comes to many people at the same time.
Multiple
Yes.
people, yeah.
Yes.
Consciousness
So
is
whoever takes the action is gonna reap the rewards, not the one
Do
who
you
steals
have
it.
a show? Do you all have a show called Shark Tank in India? Do you all see that? It's called Shark Tank.
I've seen
Which
some
has
episodes.
entrepreneurs. Yeah, so which has, so it's one of the top rated shows here and we enjoy it. In fact, we have a lot of entrepreneurs from San Diego where I stay. So, so many of the concepts that y'all are saying, right? For example, someone is an entrepreneur starting a small business. Okay, if they go for intellectual patents, if they go for IP, then it is so expensive. First of all, it is so expensive that it has so many parts to it, whether you're going to apply a patent for a particular application, for a particular part of it, and so on. It is so expensive and energy draining that the moment a person comes in and he has spent the money on IP, then he has no money for anything else. Like, it is a complete drain. So we have seen it over and over again that, whenever a person has gone for IP, really does drain that business. The other thing that I have seen so many times, and I actually am a part of 2 communities where I spend more money on them than I would on Amazon. I would get a cheaper product on Amazon, but we are still, and there are multiple reasons. One of the reasons is that there is a community where, so I'm a part of a clothing community. And in that clothing community, I can probably get it for half price somewhere else. Okay. But these are designs that are cultural. They have a charitable component to it. There is, they actually take our kids' designs and they put it on there. Okay, and we have winners. So there is such a niche community that I don't mind, and it is $10 more, fine. So for that, I'm ready to pay more. I can probably get it for Amazon for half the things, but they have created that. I feel that I am a part of it. Everyone feels they're a part of it, and we do it, and that's how we are able to beat Amazon in that particular segment, or they are able to beat Amazon. So there are all the success stories that I see in Shark Tank are someone who has come up with, as you said, the community aspects. Even the funding has come because they don't want to give up their equity. Okay, sometimes some companies work by giving equity because you want more people involved, and there are some people who have given equity to family. They're like, why not give it to family, or why not give it to a partner? Bring in a partner and give them equity. Like, why raise money? So all these concepts are coming up. It's a great show. I mean, there are some episodes on YouTube also. invite everyone to look at it. So yes, so Shiva, coming and to all of you, there are some other questions that people are asking. That there is a lot of uncertainty. There is a lot of, how do you develop the confidence? Maybe you have developed your unique potential. How do you?
Yeah, so let's move to the spiritual aspect of entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
Before we move to that, Shalab, would you like to make any comment about whatever we discussed in past few minutes?
So, I would, so I completely agree your take on, how Amazon is creating value for its customers. Vis-a-vis the community aspect, which you have said, I think there is a huge potential of, selling locally. In fact, we are starting a program called the Local Entrepreneurs Program, where you actually build entrepreneurs within the community which are serving the community itself. So how do you actually find business potential within a group of, say, a community of 5,000, 10,000 people, and you thrive in those businesses. So you don't have to really, spend too much on advertising, branding, etc., etc. So it's a close knit community based businesses. So I think there's a huge potential there. And one aspect, and I will link it to, personal brand itself, is when you talk about businesses indulging in branding, I think we are somewhere growing into the kind of businesses where the individual um, becomes the business, becomes the face of the business itself. So, when we're talking about creating entrepreneurs, I generally say that it's an alignment between my individual I and the enterprise's I. That alignment is very important, because if that happens, then this question of branding and selling actually doesn't come, because then people have confidence in you, and because of you they have confidence in your product and service. So I think that alignment is very, very important, and that is I would say the future of business.
Yes, thank you, Shalab. Yes. So we can now move into our own personal experiences, our personal issues with respect to the entrepreneurship, or our own personal expression and manifestation.
So we are moving into invocation mode. So I have already seen that people have started sharing that what are their personal challenges. But I invite Shivo, shall we invite everyone to share their personal challenges and what imprints they would, what is your subconscious that you would like to take for Brahma invocation? Whether it be, so some of the things that people have shared is the lack of confidence to create your own unique business, the inability to take responsibility or ownership because you feel, again, the fear of exploring the unknown. So I just invite everyone to share what are their fears, because it is a rapidly changing world. I will share that one of my fears is, just the uncertainty. Like it feels like you have no ground to hold on to sometimes.
Yeah, and
because things are changing so fast.
And we just forgot to say thanks to Sachin and Shalab for the interaction.
It was our pleasure, Shivo. Thank you for inviting.
Thank you very much, Shivo.
Sachin, it was a pleasure, and maybe we will have a longer interaction. We will create some series where we can have different kind of interactions. I really intend that.
Yes, Shivo, because I think I had some 10 more questions.
So thank you, Sachin. Thank you, Shalab, for
thank you very much, Shivo,
making valuable inputs.
Thank you.
Shivo, so some of them are fear of failure, fear of not able to ask for help, fear of self-expression.
Yes, all these So one of the observation we talked about the Brahma as the observation, as the observer. So one of the observation which is very simple to make. There are a lot of different forms of observation, but right now we are talking about a form of observation which is about our subconscious. So all the subconscious fears we have, like on the WhatsApp group also we were discussing today about manifesting, where some people use these affirmations and visualizations. Basically what they are doing is they're trying to fight with their subconscious. In the subconscious it is hidden that I am poor, right? That poverty is hidden in your subconscious, that I'm supposed to be poor all the time, and you are using affirmations, I am rich, I am rich, I am rich, right? Or you are creating visualization of those $10 million and all. What you are doing basically, the poverty is hidden inside you, and you are struggling. You are trying to impose a manufactured richness on yourself. So what it is going to do is it is going to cause a huge fight inside you, the split inside you, and all your creativity will be lost in that. So that is one way of manifestation, affirmations, etc. But far more powerful way of manifestation is observation, and the observation is of so many different kinds. But today we are going to talk about a very simple form of observation, that is a subconscious observation. So let us take up whatever fears we have inside us towards being entrepreneurs, right? Or all the nervousness we have about what would be our career in such an uncertain times, all those fears, all those confusions, all those not knowing who I am, what is my unique potential, everything. Take, observe everything today. Yeah. So has everyone shared? Yeah. So a lot of people are sharing. Yeah. The fear of not able to ask for help is very, very important. In today's world, you by yourself cannot create much unless there is support. What is the network of people supporting you is the greatest asset today. Yesterday, it used to be families. Today, it is your soul family, heart family. Yeah. Right. So everybody has shared. And yes, so now let us move into Brahma invocation. So a lot of you know the process, and those who don't know,
Yeah. So we will not be coming back after Shavasana. After Shivo leads us into Shavasana, please go into Shavasana as long as you would like, and then please share your experience, okay? Uh,
share your experience on the WhatsApp.
on WhatsApp. Yeah.
Yeah, so yes, so we will start with the invocation of Quanto field by saying the word Quanto thrice. Okay. Okay, let me just lead you into this. Okay, so we all can close our eyes. Breathe deep. Okay, you can sit down at a place which is very comfortable to you, and from there you can go into Shavasana. Yeah. Okay, so breathe deep. As you breathe in, your belly comes out. And as you breathe out, the belly goes in. Observe the breath carefully. The breath goes in, and before it goes out, there is a gap. Observe that gap. And when the breath goes out, before you breathe in, again there is a gap. It is in the gap you tap the unknown. And you will observe that as you are observing the breath, the gap will increase automatically just in observation. And as your gap is enhanced, the gap becomes more and more, you will begin to flow with future. It's a very, very simple understanding. Your breath is what you know, and the gap is what you don't know. So when you are present to the gap, you are present to what you don't know. And now we invoke the quantum field. So repeat with me 3 times. Quanto, quanto, quanto. And you can feel the quantum field all around you. It is entering through your fingers, through your thumbs, through your palms, through your head, through your shoulders, and your whole body. Now feel your whole body, head to toe. Feel your head, your forehead, your face, your mouth, your chin. Feel the back of your head. Feel your neck. As you're feeling your body, you will experience that the quantum field, the quantum vibrations are entering that part of the body. And now feel your shoulders, your hands, your elbows, your arms, your palms, your hand, your fingers and toe, your fingers and thumbs. Feel your chest, the upper back, the spinal cord, the middle back, the lower back, the stomach, the waist, the hips, the genitals, thighs, knees, legs, your heels, ankles, the feet, the sole, and the toes. Now you can feel your whole body vibrating. Now feel what is around your body, and you will find a magnetism around you. Your aura is magnetic, and how strong your aura is your greatest resource. And you will experience that after today's invocation, your aura will be enhanced. It will become brighter and bigger. So now you can feel your whole body vibrating and the aura around it, that also is vibrating. Now look at all the fears or confusion or uncertainty or any other emotion you feel about manifesting. What is blocking your manifestation? What emotion is blocking your manifestation? That emotion is hidden at some part of your body somewhere. Scan your body again. Find out where is this emotion hidden and in what form. Does some part of yours feel heavy? Is there pricking? Or is there some darkness? Or is there some numbness? Or is there some burning or pain? Or it feels very heavy? Whatever. Somewhere you will find this emotion hidden inside. Look at the incidents of failures you've had in the past about your career or business. Even this incident is hidden somewhere. Be present to these vibrations of subconscious. Now we invoke Brahmaji, we invite Brahmaji to observe this subconscious pattern and to absorb into himself. And that opens up a new potential, a new possibility, a new insight for you. So you can fold your hands and invite Brahmaji. I invite Brahmaji into my aura. I invite Brahmaji into my aura. I invite Brahmaji into my aura. And you can feel the vibrations of Brahma around you, entering you. These vibrations are now the observers of your subconscious. With his presence, every subconscious vibrations you have become aware of will transform into new possibilities and potentials. At this moment, you are feeling the vibrations of subconscious and superconscious vibrations of Brahmaji at the same time. And the subconscious vibrations are merging into superconscious vibrations. And now you can go in deep shavasana. Relax as much as possible, or as much as you like, or maybe you can just go to the sleep. Keep equal weight on both sides of your body. Go into relaxation. Good night. Please share your experiences on the WhatsApp group. Thank you.